Hello and welcome everybody to Once Upon a Time in the Old World. This is session 2. I am Jim, the Guildmaster, the Game Master, not Guildmaster, and these are my players.
Hi, I'm Roger. I'm playing Johann von Erfinder, the human student engineer. And this week I spent my XP on buying the talent Tinker.
Hi, I'm Aaron, and I am playing Hagen Ritter von Delbers, squire to the Knights of the White Wolf and shieldman to his best friend Johann. I spent my XP on boosting my agility and my strength a little bit.
Hi, I'm Kevin, and I'm playing Gerhard Akram, who's a wizard apprentice, and I spent my XP on intelligence and willpower to try and get out of apprentice.
Hey up, I be Dan, and I be playing Mordek, the dwarf merchant, and this week I didn't spend any XP. Sorry for the accent.
Hi, I'm Colin, I'm playing Carolyn, and I've spent my XP on Strike Mighty Blow.
Hi all, I'm Dan and I'm playing Ilmarin, the Elf Envoy, and I spent my XP on Blather because I like to talk.
Okay, thank you, players. So just a quick recap of what happened last week for those of you that didn't see the episode. The players were on the final leg towards Ubersreik. And they, during a night of very rough weather, they came across a crashed prison coach and some guards. They made camp with them for a while. When they learnt about some of the guards' party disappearing after going hunting, the party went to look for them. They found a lot of dead bodies and they found a big troll, which our engineer Johann and his friend Hagen stood their ground, ready to fight the creature along with the wizard. Our elven party member decided to make his exit towards the rear, back to the camp. When they did return to the camp, they found that their cart had gone along with some other things, along with the guards as well. But they'd left a few chests behind. They found a cut-up witchfinder in one of them, and the Elven Envoy realised that what they'd been eating was in fact human flesh that had been cooked. A couple of the party members weren't very happy with that. Well, no one was very happy with that really, but a few more than others. And the Elven Envoy was particularly smug in working out that it was human flesh, and he took to waving one of the legs around above his head. So we finally left the party as they took all the dead body of the witchfinder.
We hadn't taken the body, we'd taken her pin and hat on the grounds.
That's it, sorry. Yeah, they took the pin and hat and they'd taken some of the weapons that were there as well. And they'd turned up at Ubersreik, having got the prison cart off the road with some superb engineering from our engineer, Johann, who had, he's shown some real skill.
In between bouts of vomiting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When they got to the Ubersreik gate, there was quite a queue of people. They managed to get themselves in with the letter from Lady Annette saying that Johann was going to be a steward. And they entered Ubersreik itself via the fast lane. Now, in the time that we've been away, the players have been given rooms at the Red Moon Inn in Ubersreik, which is next to the Twofold River. It is a pretty rough hostel of an inn, but it's probably the cleanest hostel in the Dockland area. They each have individual rooms.
Luxury.
Yes, absolutely. And we are going to take it from there as they're downstairs eating some breakfast the morning after that they turned up in Ubersreik.
So we were going to go, I think, straight to the sheriff to report the dead witchfinder and things.
Yes. Yeah.
In the morning, yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of us hadn't slept very much, and some of us might have been feeling a bit worse for wear.
Fine.
Okay, so hardened bread and cheeses are brought out to you. The cook has done this amazingly smelly potato and fish stew. He says it's one of the best breakfasts around. And that's there on one of the tables as well for you to help yourself. There's bowls there. It's down to you guys.
I'm going to have some fish stew.
That sounds like food to me.
Hagen will tuck in.
I'm going to turn out to be a mermaid later. It'll be fine.
Just on the bread and cheese, I think I'm a bit sensitive at the minute.
Fair enough.
So what are we about today, guys? We headed to the sheriff's before we go talk to the lady.
Yeah,
we should probably get that done.
We want to get that cleared up so we don't get blamed for something.
I also want to get rid of that hat. I do not want to have that hat if someone...
Yeah, last thing we want is the cult of Sigmar coming after us.
Yeah, we need to report the witch hunter's demise first.
I mean, all these things are really important. But how hard is this bread? Put it on the table.
Dip it in the ale.
I don't drink ale.
Well, your loss.
Water?
Then I guess you'll have to eat the ale?
I don't know that I would drink the water here, to be honest. Isn't that the point of ale?
I guess small beer. It's the
safe way to live.
Exactly.
Elf kind of looks at all the food and just goes, nah. Nah.
You're sticking to your trail rations.
Yes.
Prefer something that's fermented on purpose rather than just been...
I'm sure Marin just picks some berries in the woods or something like that.
So the cook who is serving up the fish and potato stew, he sees you looking like rather unimpressed with the food, and he sort of huffs. Took me all day to make that food.
Here, lad. You don't be minding that pointy-eared git who has no appreciation for proper munch, all right?
I would hardly call this culinary genius.
I'll have you know that fish and potato stew is the finest breakfast that you'll get in Ubersreik.
Culinary, it don't have to be. Good-fashioned old grub is what it needs to be.
Taps the bread on the table again. Definitely old.
Amara, my friend, let's do our best not to get ourselves kicked out of our inn first thing in the morning.
If the elf wants to sleep in the gutter, I'm not going to stand in his way.
I think a professional envoy would be better at talking to people.
I'm just merely passing constructive criticism to help improve. Better food means more customers.
Yep, lads.
Sounded
just keep your gob shut and let's get on with eating our grub, eh?
Why do we let the elf
So,
talk?
a rather podgy man, slightly overweight, looks very dishevelled, wanders over to you, and he's polishing a tankard as he walks over to you. He says, "Evening, gentlemen. I'm Franz Lohner. I'm the..."
Isn't it the morning?
Morning.
Say again?
It's the morning.
So he just came over and said, "Evening, gentlemen," in the middle of early morning.
Okay.
He's a bit
Well,
weird.
it is evening still for me in a way because I've not been to bed yet, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I'm the owner, landlord here. You know, if you need anything, then please come and see me. I do have a request to start with, by the way, and I'm really sorry to mess you around. We seem to have some other gentlemen and ladies coming here on request of Lady Net. So I'm going to have to ask you if you could double up in rooms, please.
I ain't been sharing no room with no elf.
I'm sure we can accommodate you, and I'll just kind of look at Hagen.
Yes, as is my writ, I will be staying with Johann.
How about I'll come and stay with the. I'll move in with the dwarf and the two.
Have you ever heard a dwarf snore?
Here, lass, do you smell?
Turn towards
You
Callum.
smell, lass.
The two... What was that? The two what?
The other two can
other two, yes.
compare
Smooth.
notes on their books or whatever it is they want to do. Oh yeah, feel free to throw a side eye.
I hope you don't snore, lass. I hope you don't snore.
Would you rather be sharing with me, the elf, or the wizard?
These are all very difficult choices.
Mordek,
I'll be sticking with her.
Mordek, we've been traveling on the road with you for quite a while. If anybody has to worry about snoring, it's the rest of us.
It be a lie. It be a lie, lad. Mordek does not snore. He snores a lot.
We float feathers over your mouth just to see how long they will stay in the air.
I'm sure I could devise some kind of experiment.
I don't know how he doesn't choke on
scratching his chin.
Have we divided the rooms up properly, or do we have to ask the wider community who's sharing with who?
No, it's
No.
I think the PCs have decided.
Yeah, Hagen and Johann, Carolyn and the dwarf, and the elf and the wizard.
Okay.
Wizard, I look forward to sharing notes with you until the early hours of the morning. Finally, someone of education to have a good discussion with. I wish to learn more of your human magics.
It's unusual for an elf, but okay.
Just kind of lean over to Hagen and whisper, I feel for the wizard.
You whisper it loudly.
I was going to say,
is it a stage whisper?
I was going to say, you have to be really quiet for the pointy ears not to hear.
Oh, wait till you're talking.
It shouldn't take long.
Yes, poor Gerhardt. He may never have the energy to cast again after a night with Ilmarin.
That could be taken a few different ways.
Ilmarin's going to go up and actually get some of this potato and fish stew. What you see him doing is get out this little pouch, and he's got some little spices, and he starts putting some bits and pieces in it, and he's like, "That's not bad. It's not bad now." So,
it still smells like a dockyard. Yeah,
I mean,
it still
smells a little bit better than it did 5 minutes ago. So.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's a little bit perfumey now. There's an aroma to it.
It be the grub of the working man, or manling in this case.
Right then, my friends, are we off?
Yeah, we should get going.
We're not going to have one round of drinks before we go.
You mean you've not been having one with your breakfast?
The breakfast round don't count. It don't count, lad.
Well, perhaps you should down it then. We better get going.
All right, then.
Your arm disappears as you're going background.
Okay, so what are we planning to do?
Make our way into the daylight.
First, right?
Yeah, make our way into Ubersreik and try and find the... I'm assuming it would be the Temple of Sigmar, where we would report the loss of a witch hunter.
I would think so.
I think.
Well, they are Templars of Sigmar, so.
Carolyn might be inclined to let you get on with that because she's just a little worried that if they're going to decide to blame someone, they'll look at the lowborn thug. And,
Hagen and Johan will go into the temple
Right.
alone, or maybe with the dwarf. The others wouldn't be so well received.
Oh no, the elf's definitely going in.
You should wait outside.
No, Mara wants to see Mara wants to see the inside of a Temple of Sigmar.
Okay, if they accuse us, we're blaming you.
That's fine.
Yes, Johan, while we're out in this area too, I have to stop in at the Chapel of Ulrich and announce my presence so they're aware that I'm here.
maybe while you're
I'm
doing
sure they're
that,
probably in the same place. Well, I mean, we'll ask around, but
maybe
I
while
would think
you're
they'd be near.
doing that, Carolyn and Mordek could go and do all that trading we dealt with in between games.
Yes. Good shout.
yeah, I will hand you the weapons that we took, which have been cleaned up to look presentable.
Okay.
Go with the
So-
trading party, I suppose.
You stand in front of the Temple of Sigmar. It is quite an impressive building. It has roughly 12 steps going up to the main entrance. The building is very clean, very bright. It's probably the best looking building, in the area. The doors are open. You sort of enter in and you can hear chanting coming from many voices inside, as there seems to be some sort of prayer going on at the moment. There is a priest who is busying himself around polishing the seats, just making the whole place look tidy, straightening up some of the tapestries and just cleaning up basically.
Okay. So does he look like he's the most likely to be available priest we can see?
Indeed he does.
Okay, I'll kind of stroll in his direction. Respectfully, so walking softly and being quiet.
Hello sir, could I give you any assistance?
Perhaps we could have a word in private. We have a somewhat delicate matter to discuss.
And he looks at one of the pews. There's nobody else.
Oh, there's no
in
one
this
else around.
vicinity. Yeah, so
Okay.
he sits down. Please take a seat. Tell me, what is it you wish to talk about? Is it church business? Would you like to know more about the cult of Sigmar?
It is church business. However, I'm educated with regard to the more mundane matters of Sigmar. We regretfully have to report the loss of one of your Templars, and I will just kind of pull out the hat.
Oh. How did this Templar die?
There were a group of mercenaries who were paid to break a prisoner free, and they unfortunately murdered your Templar.
As well as the Ubersreik guards who were escorting the Templar. And apparently the prisoner was a dark elf, if that helps identify who you've lost. She was a woman, of that we know, but it was difficult to make anything else of her remains.
And this is her badge. We'll again produce the silver badge that we recovered.
Okay, thank you. Much appreciated. You speak of a dark elf?
Yes.
They were captive, or were. They were broken free by the.
And they hailed from Ubersreik?
We believe they were traveling from Ubersreik north.
We know that the guards that were accompanying them were Ubersreik tabards. That's the association we made, but beyond that, we have no other information.
I know naught about a dark elf captured or a dark elf prisoner in Ubersreik. They've not seen their kind for a long time down here.
Unfortunately, we know little more. Unfortunate, the people we came across, including your Templar, were deceased upon our arrival.
Okay. Oh, thank you for passing on the news. I'll report it to the guards captain, so she may follow up on investigations.
We are staying at the Red Moon Inn if you or the guard captain have further questions of us when we are not in attendance to the Lady Natch.
Okay, that's very... the Lady Natch, you are acquainted with her?
Yeah, she asked to see us. That's the reason we have come from Altdorf.
Okay. Okay. And you're staying at the Red Moon Inn?
Correct.
Yes. Johann von Erfinder.
And I am Hagen.
Maybe me and a couple of my brethren could come over tonight and lead a prayer session with you in your rooms.
Some of us have work that must be done. However, I'm sure Ilmarin will be thrilled to hear it.
We always appreciate the blessings of Sigmar.
Ilmarin, you say? That sounds like a...
These tapestries are quite marvellous. How did you make them?
I'm sure he would wish to know more about Sigmar.
You befriend yourself with the Eye Elf, I see.
He's not so bad for his kind. Even the dwarf, I'll say, kind of glancing on Mordek, can tolerate his presence for a while.
Mordek's not there, but...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But Ilmarin hears this and goes, Johan, you say the nicest things from across the room.
You might hear a belch from outside.
I would very much appreciate it, Mr. Elf, or are you an Eye Elf or a Wood Elf or
I'm
a Sea Elf?
Sea Elf. I mean, technically, there are a good portion of elves that live at sea. So
I would prefer you to keep your voice down.
I make the sigil of the twin tail comet and go, Sigmar's strength go with you.
We're still going to get killed.
But yes, I mean, if you require us to come and enlighten you on your path, then me and some of my brethren will travel over.
In classical, I'd say he'd like that.
We could maybe study some of the teachings and share a water or two.
He does like drinking water.
I would welcome the chance to learn more about your god, Sigmar.
I am more than willing to teach a heathen more about Sigmar.
Hagen gives Johan a little side eye, like we should be leaving now.
Well, we won't keep you any longer. We do have business to attend to, but we thought this was pressing and you needed to be told.
Okay, well, thank you. Your name is?
Johann von Erfinder.
I'm Father Heinrich.
Pleasure, Father.
Okay.
I'll kind of stand up, sort of make the sign of the twin tail comet, and leave.
Ilmarin will also give a curt bow. It's been a pleasure, Heinrich. Twin tail comet and leaves.
Just kind of give just out the corner of his mouth, a slight grin to Hagen.
Okay, he leaves you to it and starts straightening things up again and polishing bits of brass and silver.
We should go to the market, pick up the others, and then head to the lady's house.
I agree.
And yeah, we'll kind of amble towards the market area and try and find the others.
Yeah, you find your two comrades easily enough, and they have the equipment that we discussed during our downtime. someone's giving some great ideas for you, Ilmarin.
I can't see them, sorry.
Jakluk says, I imagine Ilmarin treating Sigmar in the same way a parent treats their child's imaginary friend. Fantastic.
That's
really-
yes.
I almost said something and decided it would probably be a very bad idea to upset them.
I was
Sigmar.
quite impressed you missed out the word quaint.
Just
Yeah,
because
you
we're low
meet up
level
with
doesn't
your-
mean the priests are low level.
You meet up with your friends, and you went towards the lady's house. The guard who escorted you to your dwelling last night, he did explain where the lady's house was, so it's quite easy to follow his directions. And you end up outside a rather nice looking house, quite large, almost mansion large. But it has two guards with Ubersreik tabards out the front of the door. And they step forward and point their halberds towards you as you approach. Oh, two goes there.
Johann von Erfinder, I'm here to see the Lady Not.
Johann von Erfinger.
Erfinder, and I'll produce the papers.
Okay, Mr. Finger. We won't be long. One of them goes into the house.
They're a bit hard of hearing, aren't they, Johann?
It's hard to get good help.
You are expected, if you would like, to enter the hallway and wait for someone to fetch you. And he lets you in, and he stands on the inside of the door and stands there just sort of staring through you more than anything.
Okay, yeah, I'd kind of try and clean up the clothes as best I can.
So the inside of the house, the hallway is very, very nicely decorated. The floor is a black and white check. There's lots of oak beams showing. The light fittings and the candelabras all seem to be either silver or gold. It's a very affluent looking house.
Oh, finally, a touch of class.
You stood there about 10 minutes, and then one of the side doors opens, and this Weasley looking man comes out dressed in black. He has a black coat on. He has a ruffled shirt, and he walks over to you. My friends. Yes, I am von Gebler, and I am Lady Nack's lawyer. And I've been Lady Nack is busy on Ubersreik business at the moment, and she's left me to deal with you. Is that okay? If you would like to come into the room and take a seat, I can go through some things with you. Are you sure? Would you like to come through?
Yep,
Would you like to come through?
Lead on.
Just-
Absolutely,
let's-
lead on.
Let's get on
Thank
with
you.
this.
Thank you. Okay.
A lawyer, lad, a lawyer.
Pete reckons it's goused. Now take a seat, and you're in quite a nice dining room, and there's about 15 chairs around this big long table. Please take a seat. And he pulls up pulls out the chair at the end of the table.
I'll go
he
to the
sits
chair
down.
at the other end.
So
I will stand.
he looks around the room.
Calvin will probably end up standing as well then.
You must be Johann, and he points at the wizard. Yes, Johann?
I just gesture towards Johann.
You're Johann.
Yes.
I'm very pleased to meet you, Johann. Now, we have we are happy that you're here. And you're here to do some of the minor jobs for the lady. She's a very busy person, as you can tell that she's not here already. But what we want to see is, the little things ironed out. The certain jobs that we would like dealt with, and some things like that. The lady has many friends, and she owes favors and likes to repay debt and things like that. That we would hope that you and your fellow colleagues would carry out that for us. Now, I'm glad that you've agreed to do this, but what I need to know is there anything that you need of me? Is there any permits, weapons permits, or anything, or is there any licenses? Is there any things that you wish of me? Have you upset anybody? Would you like me to grease the wheels? Do you need? Obviously, I can't give you money directly, but I can afford. I can, agree to a wage. Sorry, what was you saying?
I want to, lad.
I mean, if you do need permits or anything, then I'm sure that we can deal with everything.
Will you shut up and let me talk?
I'm very sorry, Mr. Dwarf.
Talking to your elders like that, lad.
Yeah, indeed it does, Mr. Dwarf, and I do apologise very much so.
How do we know you'd be being one of these lawyer things?
Did you travel here quite quickly, Johan, or was it a fast journey, or
Does anyone mind if I punch this man in the face?
Let's skip.
Calm
down.
That won't be necessary.
Let's skip the pleasantries. We will require financial compensation.
I don't like rude manlings.
It'll be all right.
Busy, yes.
I'll look at the dwarf and go, this is why we don't normally talk to the help. Look, what is it the lady needs, and how much is she paying us?
Did you just call me the help, Mr. Johan?
Are you not the lady's help?
I'm the lady's lawyer.
So you keep on saying that, but I ain't seen no paperwork from you. Where be your?
You wish to see paperwork? I've got paperwork. Hold on.
Where be your proof of being a lawyer?
Of his coat, and he pulls out this big scroll, and he unrolls it. Yeah, it's got ribbon on it, and it's got a wax stamp on and everything. I am Von Gebel, and I am, and he points to the paper, lawyer to Lady Nat. Yes, of Ubersreik. Yes.
Yes, we've established you're one of her employees. What's the job?
Oh, the dwarf misbelieved me. I mean, I was just like, I'm a lawyer. I tell the truth. I am known for the truth. I'm not like the bearded
Did this manling just say that as a lawyer he tells the truth?
For once, I find myself agreeing with the dwarf.
Let us all take a pause for a moment.
Gentlemen, to business.
Yes. So I thought we could put you on a wage of 6 shillings per day.
To do what?
Whatever the lady needs you to do.
Within reason, we're not assassins.
No, I wouldn't expect. What are you trying to say? The lady would be very, very insulted if you said that.
I wouldn't say such a thing to the lady. However, people working on her behalf can sometimes abuse their power.
Most of the time you'll be dealing directly with the lady, but she does use me as a go-between quite a lot. So we will have a very close working relationship. So it is good, it's a good thing that we build up a close working relationship. And he stares at the dwarf.
Surely, Von Gebel, as a lawyer, you're aware that contracts with the terms like whatever is needed done for you don't really pertain well when a daily rate is being considered.
Well, it's a job. If you don't want to do it, we could get other people to do it. That's not a problem.
What is the job in question?
The jobs we ask of you, if you find other things on the way, or while you're hunting, whatever we ask for, or tracking down something or whatever, is yours to keep. Yeah, unless we specifically ask for something to be fetched and brought back. So there'll be opportunity for you to earn more.
Let's start with today's.
I mean,
does the lady
it could be that you find treasure there, and whatever. But yes,
You're trying to pay us with exposure?
No. How's the rooms? Are they okay for you?
They're somewhat slummier than I'm used to.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, that's all that's available within our price bracket at the moment. There's lots of things going on. The Bretonians are kicking up. Past nobles are demanding an audience with regards to them thinking that they still run Ubersreik. We have a Greenskin menace. There's all sorts going on. Yeah, it's quite diabolical at the moment.
Well, Von Gebel, how is it that we can serve the lady this day? Because I believe we are all hoping to get started on your tasks as soon as possible.
I don't have anything for you to do right away. I was just seeing if you'd settled in. I mean, I thought I'd give you a couple of days of settling in and making yourselves comfortable, getting to know the area, making some friends, having a jolly good time, take part in the local wines and food and festivals and things, and just really enjoy yourselves and really become an Ubersreiker, or get to know how to become one.
I think I can speak for us when I say we'd rather get to work.
Oh, you'd rather... Well, actually, yes, there is something. I noticed that one of your group is an elf. We don't need permits for elves in Ubersreik. Don't worry, that's not a problem. But the lady next, one of her friends, an elven princess, she has made her home in Ubersreik for the past 2 years, and her husband seems to have gone missing. She was just speaking to me about it this morning. Now, if you wait here, she's in the other room. I could go and get her and her entourage to come and see you, and maybe you would like to try tracking down her husband for her. She's quite a charming lady. I mean, she's and a smile lights up the building. Anything we could do to help her would be greatly appreciated.
I'm sure she's lovely for an elf.
Oh, she is. She's lovely. Yes, and I will say this. Although that I don't like all elves, no disrespect there, Mr. Elf. They are more friendlier than the small bearded race that you also travel with as well, who has already threatened me more than once. But I will overlook that, as he's one of your friends and colleagues, and I'm sure that he does a job for you, and he can be quite a tool for us to use.
Shall we proceed?
Yes. Proceed how? Sorry.
You were going to introduce us to this person, so we can try and find them.
Mr. Gebel, why don't you go fetch this elf princess?
Yes, yes, yeah, I will do that. Yes. Before I go, oh dear, I forgot what I was going to say. I'll go and fetch the princess. Yes. So he leaves the room.
As soon as he leaves the room, I don't like him, lads. He don't be trustful, and he'd be a bit of a nonce.
Mordek, I will join you in this, and for the first time ever, I feel that I must resort to violence. So if I hold him, will you punch him? Because my delicate elf hands cannot handle punching.
Let's not upset the lady. Let's not upset the lady.
I'll be with you, you pointy nonce. You hold him down and I'll smack him.
He deserves it.
Right.
He may well do. We can lodge our complaints with the lady that her help isn't performing as
the door opens, and the first thing you see is the backside of Von Gebel, and he's faced away from you, but he's bound down, and he keeps doing this with his hand. This way, my lady. This way. Yeah, and he sort of backs his way into the room, and following him is two rather handy-looking elven warriors with swords and really nice chainmail armor, real delicate sort of chainmail as well. And behind them is an Alvin Maiden who is dressed in what can only be described as very, very expensive clothing. And he ushers her over to the table. She sits down, and the two guards stand behind her. Of whom am I talking?
Johann von Erfinder, I'll say, nodding my head slightly.
I am Hagen Ritter von Delbers, at your service, milady.
And,
I step forward in front of all of them, and I take a proper bow, like a proper elf would. Admiring of your dress, your grace.
Civilization, I see at last.
It's indeed true. Nice to see someone that is much more than these lovely humans.
Mordek spits on the floor.
Don't mind our Dowie friend. He's not that
The
bad.
two guards move their hands towards the hilts of the swords.
By the way, just as a question, are they wearing really fancy hats with long, fluffy pommels on?
Plumes.
No, the
Plumes.
sort of pointed helmets.
Just pointed helmets, not.
Yes.
Okay, so that's fine. They're not what I thought they were. Because if they were what I thought they were, I'd be stepping out of the way and saying, "Bye, Mordek."
To business, I understand that that your husband has gone missing.
Yes, it is dire news. Me and my husband, we've lived in Ubersreik for nearly 2 human years, and we've made our own here. The people here are friendly. There has been a lot of transition of late with the Lady Neck and a gentleman colleague coming in and taking over things on behalf of your human emperor. But we travelled here specifically to seek a relic, a long lost elven relic, thought to have hailed from times that the human religion Sigmar, I believe, from his time, and he's been seeking this weapon that he heard was in a tomb in the Ubersreik area, and he searched and searched and couldn't find anything. But recently he had a breakthrough, and a rather shady gentleman, shall we say, approached him and said that he'd found a tomb, and it had some form of ancient elven language around the outside of the door. And he agreed to take my husband there for a price. My husband left that very night, and that's the last time I've seen him.
Do you
How long
know
ago
the
was
name?
that, milady? I apologize, Johann. Continue.
Do you know the name of the unseemly gentleman that your husband left with?
His name was he was a halfling. Went by the name of Sethlin Lowhaven.
Sorry, Sethran.
Sethlin
Lowhaven.
And how long has he been gone?
He's been gone about a month. A human month, should I say. Now, I'm quite open to the fact that he may be dead, which would be grim news, but, you know, in the balance of things, nature gives and nature takes away. So, but I just require closure.
Did they
If
give
he
any?
is indeed dead, then I would like his body returning to me.
Did they give any clue as to where they may be heading?
He didn't discuss business with me, unfortunately.
Did he leave any notes?
He said that he was going to a tavern now. I'm trying to remember the tavern's name. I believe it was the Crooked Hammer. And I believe, I'm not sure, yeah, crooked, it is the Crooked Hammer.
Okay, and what was your husband's name?
My husband's name is Lorinda. He's a prince whose home I married into his family.
Have you sent others looking for him?
Unfortunately not. The guards were looking for him. The guards captain has been very forthcoming, and she has been very helpful indeed. But no, I travelled here this morning to speak to the marvellous Mr. Van Gubel to get, you know, this situation closed.
And are you offering a reward for your husband's return?
It is very, I would have thought, you know, and she looks across at Van Gubel. I thought these were men of honour. It seems very uncouth to ask a lady for money for the return
I'd
of
not
our
be
husband.
a manling, I'd be a dowie.
Imarin's just shaking his head
Yes.
at Johan and just been like, it's not how you talk to an elf.
But I understand your ways, Johan. I would be prepared to pay a gold crown for each of you if you return with my husband's body.
Hagen looks over at
He's a
Johan.
prince, though.
Yeah, but there are a dime a dozen in another one.
Is there anything else you can tell us that would assist in our investigation?
I did a little investigation myself, and the man who runs the Crooked Hammer is known as Gert Hunder. I'm sure, you know, he could be one to start with. Perhaps this Sethlin fellow drinks in there often.
Your Grace, if I may, did any of your own guards travel with your husband?
No, he would. He liked to live on the edge of wisdom, shall we say. He took pleasure in taking risks. He's thought of himself as a treasure seeker. You know, a raider of tombs.
If I may, what realm do you and your husband hail from?
Say again.
What realm do you and your husband hail from?
One of the lost realms.
So from the Isle of Uffon, or Have you always lived on the mainland?
From the Isle.
Okay. Well, unless there's anything else you can tell us, we'll get going.
Okay, I thank you. And if you report back to Van Gebel, he can be our go-between, yes. But don't worry, I will make sure that you are paid handsomely for bringing him back.
Your Grace, actually, if we made one more favour, do you have a painting of your husband so that we might recognise him if we were to see him?
Or a description?
Do you know, I don't.
Although I doubt there are many elves in this city.
Yeah, he was very fair of hair, and he had a scar, although it was a beautiful scar, across his left eye, and he had a birthmark on his right cheek as well.
Thank you, Your Grace. We shan't keep you any longer.
Thank you.
May Assyrian
And,
bless your steps.
And indeed yours, and may you be granted safe passage.
Yeah, I'm just going to stand up and leave.
Von Gebel, may I bend your ear for a moment before we go?
Yes, of course. Yeah, yes. Let me see. Hagen, yes?
Yes, exactly. Thank you, sir. Since it appears that we may be needing to go speak with the guard captain on this matter, would you be able to provide us a letter of introduction to let the guard captain know of the seriousness of our inquiry, so we're not pawned off on some lesser official?
Well, the guards captain is with Lady Next at the moment, and they have important business discussing at the moment. There is a party of Bretonians travelling into the city to meet with my good lady.
Were those the same? Were those the same nobles who were also put up in the inn, the Red Moon Inn, with us?
No. They're completely different people. I mean, not those at all. No.
Understood. Is there someone beneath the guard captain who would have the same information that she has concerning their investigation?
There is a sergeant, Rudy Klumpenberg, I believe his name is.
Excellent.
But again, during the day, he tends to be busy most of the time. If you can find him, then you're doing well.
Understood. Well, thank you for your time, then, Von Gebel.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. I mean, I very much appreciate you helping the lady out. And,
Von Gebel,
sure.
Could you give us directions to the Crooked Hammer? We are new to the city.
Yes, of course. And
or if you have a map, that would be useful.
Yeah, not at all. I don't have a map. I mean, we're not a tourist office here. I can point you in the general direction. But no. If I can have a quiet word, Mr. Hagen.
Yes, of course.
He takes you to one side. Mr. Hagen, if I could ask a huge favour of you, and we're going to be working together quite a lot. But your friend, Master Johan, he surrounds himself with a rum lot, and the dwarf, he brings with him a stench that will take me many hours to get rid of. Now, could I ask that said dwarf does not enter this house again? I would hate the lady to smell what is beneath his loins and whatever he smells of, and the stench is quite frightening, to be fair. And I would hate for the lady to smell this. She has very particular requirements, and her senses are very heightened. And yes, I mean, it would be horrible to such a lady, almost abusive.
You see Hagen's face just start to just like thunderclouds are gathering behind his gray eyes. And then he kind of growls down at him. He goes, "That Dowey, Mordak, is a friend of mine, a stout companion, and a good hand with an axe. He and I have traveled far, and I would tell you now that I will make no such request of him. If the lady does not want the services of this company, she can tell us so. Otherwise, he goes where we go. Am I absolutely clear on that point, Von Gebel?"
Well, I suppose, but you have to understand there's friends and there's colleagues, yes. But friends can smell, and he does indeed have a stench that is beyond measure.
How far away is this conversation, and how quiet is this conversation, may I ask?
It's
Shall I make
side of the room?
Shall I make a perception roll on my acute senses to see if I can actually hear it?
Of course you can.
Just bear with me.
Does the elf want to stir some more trouble by any chance?
Oh, I marginally failed. You're lucky.
I go, "Von Gebel, I appreciate your concerns, but we've been on the road for weeks. We'll attend a bathhouse."
You can smell.
But
you can tell. Sorry, not smell. You can tell. I see what I did there. You can smell. Well, you don't particularly. But your friend Mordick, or whatever his name is, yeah, he does smell quite atrocious.
Well, we will make sure that the lady's sensibilities are not offended by our presence. However, he, as I said, goes where we go.
Could you make sure he bathes quite rigorously before he comes in?
I will let him know that that is your concern, and if necessary,
I'd be willing to give you
directly.
I'd be willing to give you a soap allowance to make sure that this is achieved.
Very well, Von Gebel. We will attend to your concerns as long as you allow us to contend with the lady's concerns.
Okay, yes, of course. And you have got very, very urgent business to do with searching for an elven prince. You know, it is quite an astounding feat that you take on. I mean, it'll be, quite a story, and I'm sure that I'd be really intrigued to find out what goes on.
As will we. And with that, he turns and just walks away without a by your leave.
Okay. And he follows you out, and he's got two handkerchiefs out of his coat, and he's sort of waving them behind you as you're...
Mordak, you were right. We may have to beat that butler half to death.
I like
Hey
that.
up, lad.
He's a lawyer, but we're all thinking about him as a butler. He's acting like a butler.
I like your thinking, manling.
I did not like his. So let's go find this tavern and see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into. Or out of.
Now that sounds like Mark on fun.
Yeah, as we're kind of walking down the steps, I hate dealing with the help.
Especially the uppity kind.
Yes, regardless of his noble blood, he was acting like a pompous ass.
So I assume we're going to the
Yeah,
Crooked
let's
Hammer.
head towards the Crooked Hammer and see if we can find this idiot elf.
Do you always have to speak so derogatory of elves?
Well, perhaps if
Yes.
elves gave us reason to not, we wouldn't.
I understand
To be
you,
fair,
Dowie.
He doesn't say this elf who is stupid like all others. He says this stupid elf, because who goes to a clandestine meeting completely alone?
Oh yes, that was foolish. Foolish, not stupid. Foolish.
Stupid.
Stupid implies a lack of intelligence. Foolish implies a level of naivety.
And he's applying both.
It'd probably be a bit of both.
Well, I do think when we get there, we should, just in case that Sethlin Lowhaven is lurking around, perhaps we should make sure that all the exits to the building are covered in case he decides to make a hasty retreat.
And I'm looking at Ilmarin, and you should definitely wait outside when we go in. If he sees an elf, he'll think something's wrong.
Fine. I shall perch myself upon a building with my bow, and if I see a halfling run, I'll shoot him.
Not to kill, though.
Please don't murder people in
Yeah, if you
the
kill a random
city.
halfling, you're on your own.
Yeah, that.
Try and apprehend him.
I think that would be the
Ilmarin's in a
best.
slightly bad mood at the moment, actually.
Yes, let's try to apprehend the halflings. Otherwise, we may never find this tomb.
Nothing like getting a hanging sentence in the local courts to improve your mood.
Okay, so you travel through the city and you eventually find what can only be described as an almost derelict building. What windows it has boarded up. The door looks like it's been given a real good kicking, and even the building tends to lean as if there's some subsidence underneath the building.
The building itself has been a tavern so long that the walls got drunk.
Absolutely.
Those of you paying attention will probably notice that Caroline has got progressively less and less tense as we've gone away from the posh bits of town.
Yeah.
Is this a 1-story or 2-story building?
Oh, it's a one-story.
Is
building.
there a sound of anyone inside, or does it just look like an abandoned
Yeah,
building?
there's some. It sounds like there's a few people in there, and as you pop your head through the door, you can see there's a guy behind the bar, again polishing tankards and wiping down the bar itself, and that at this moment in time, there does seem to be an awful lot of halflings present in said bar, pub, inn, tavern.
Do any of them look particularly greasy?
They all look fairly mistrustful, yeah.
Okay.
This could be harder than I thought.
Just
Right, lads.
walk up to
Yep.
the bar.
Everybody make sure they got a hold of their coin purses, eh?
I glanced around to try to
Always.
see if there's a back way out of here.
Yes, there is.
So I post up towards the back side towards the back entrance in case I need to stop a stampede.
Okay.
I'm going to let the others go in,
So
so I can come in slightly separately from them.
there's quite a portly little halfling for a halfling. And he sort of spots Hagen as he goes and stands by the back door. And he jumps down from his seat. And he sort of ambles over to Hagen with his arms behind his back. And greetings, Mr. Warrior. That's quite a fine sword you have there.
Why, thank you for your notice, and you may call me
Yeah.
Hagen. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
I'm Levi of the clan Lowhaven.
Levi of Lowhaven.
Ooh, that's quite. Oh, where did you get that pouch from?
I put my hand very, very close onto my pouch and I go, from far away, Levi. I actually think I have heard of one of your clansmen, a halfling by the name of Sethlin. Might he be around today?
Sethlin, he's my cousin. Yes. I mean, if only I could remember where Sethlin lives or where you could find him. Oh,
Well, I suppose, and I reach in and I pull a shilling out of my pouch and I just kind of hold it in my hand.
Man, I was really hoping we would get in a fight with a bunch of halflings. Can you imagine a bar
Beat
fight
up
with
a
a bunch
whole
of
bar.
halflings?
Hey,
Right,
give it time. Give it time.
Yes.
We're just starting.
So that's my cousin over there, Stefan. And he points over to a booth with a big round table in it. And there's quite a skinny halfling with bright red hair and a mutton chop beard and moustache, really. The bottom half of his beard in there is his mutton chop sort of growing to a moustache. And he has got sort of food all around his mouth. He looks like the most messiest eater you've possibly ever seen.
I say, so that is Stefan. Why don't you take me over there and introduce me, and then I'll give you this shilling.
No, money first, introduction second.
Well, and then I put the shilling back in my pouch and I go, let's say that when I get over there and I find that that halfling is not Cephalin, then you and I would have a moment of
I am
concern.
shocked, Mr. Warrior, that you would think we halflings of the Lowhaven clan would stoop so low.
Yes, I am a horrible judge of character, but you'll have to forgive me this indulgence and introduce me to your cousin.
I am truly insulted.
I accept your insult. If you would like, we can settle this outside.
You want to fight with me?
Not at all, but apparently you want to fight with me. I'm
No, I said I
comfortable
was
with that.
insulted. I didn't say it once I was going to raise my hand towards you.
Well, where I come from, when a man says that he's insulted, he is requesting
I'm not a
duel
man,
to
I'm
the
a
death.
halfling.
You make a very good point there. So you'll go introduce me to your cousin then?
Yes, of course. And you'll pay me that shilling, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
As
he
we
sort
go
of
over there,
grabs you by the hand.
I take my
leads
hand
you
away
over.
from him. And I've still got my other hand on my pouch.
He grabs your coat and he sort of
All right.
leads you over. Sethlin, this gentleman, and he looks around and sees you guys, and I think his comrades wish to speak to you, I think. Take a seat. Take a seat. You want some chicken?
I think
You want some
conversation would be best first, Sethlin, and then perhaps we can share a meal. So I give Levi the shilling and I go, we have struck a bargain here, Levi. Let's hope that we both were being honest. Otherwise, we might still have that duel. And then
You threatened my cousin.
No, I'm simply I'm explaining to him the rules of engagement. It's never a threat if he's honest. It's simply a fact.
Who am I speaking to? One so aggressive.
I am Hagen Ritter von Delbers, Knight's Squire to the White Wolves and companion to Johann von Erfinder. We were sent here to speak with you.
Who by? Before you say, I can promise you it wasn't me. Yeah. My fellow clan members will vouch for me. Yeah, I've been here all night and most of the morning.
Well, that's all right, because we're concerned about an event that happened about a month ago when you escorted a noble elf by the name of Lorindar to a tomb that you supposedly found.
I didn't. I didn't escort him.
Well, according to his wife, you did. So you can assist us with your information, or we can take you before the guard captain and they can hold you until we get to the bottom of this.
Oh, you think you can take me out of this place when there's 26 of my clan here as well? Now, you may be quite tall for a manling, but let me tell you, 26 halflings kicking you in the shins, yeah, you'll soon go down. Know what I'm saying?
You die first. That's what I'm saying. I'm a knight. Well, at least a knight squire. It's in my blood. I'm working on it, to be honest with you. I'm trying to be much more personable. My friend over there, Ilmarin, is trying to teach me a little bit more diplomatic ways, but I have yet to master it. I'd very much simply rather be your
I think
friend.
we left the elf outside.
The elf is outside, yeah.
Well, there's an elf outside who is trying to teach me.
That sounds like an Elven name.
It is. He's an elf gentleman, and also trying to help find this missing elf lord.
Could you bring your elven friend in? I'd very much like to meet the elf.
I don't see why that would be a problem.
Hey, fellow clan, they've got an elf with them.
What's the reaction in the room when he says that?
But everybody looks sort of semi-excited, yeah?
No, like
If
they're
there
not
was
like
a glimmer in each of their eyes, it would be there by now, definitely.
Right.
And there's lots of whispering with each other. Excited whispering.
Carolyn, could you go see if Ilmarin is willing to come inside? Hagen's got a bemused look on his face at this point. He just has no idea how to handle these halflings.
Sure. Carolyn will head up to go to find the elf.
Do we get the impression that quite a lot of the room are kind of
okay?
There were some halflings who were quite keen to see you.
Yeah.
How unusual.
Yeah.
Well, it piques my interest. I shall come down and say hi. But I move my pouch into a secure inside. Underneath like there. Never trust a halfling.
So, as Ilmarin enters the tavern, he's absolutely besieged by the halflings. And they're sort of asking him 26 questions at once almost. Oh, how old are you? Where'd you come from? Aren't your ears pointy? Do you have to sharpen your ears? Are you a boy or a girl? Where'd you get these clothes from? These look expensive clothes. Are they expensive? How much do they cost you? Oh wow, look at this.
Ilmarin is absolutely keeping his distance, trying to back away
they're
from
sort of pulling on your clothes and sort of admiring things. And
my hand is firmly on my pouch.
Yeah. That pouch looks full. Could I have a feel of that pouch? It looks quite bloated.
As that halfling gets too close, I flick him on the end of his nose. Back off.
Yeah.
To an elf, this is not decorum. This is absolutely outrageous. You're all too close. You back away. You can form an orderly queue, and I will answer your questions one by one. Every one of you gets one question, but line up. This is just mayhem.
Okay, they all look down at the floor as if they've been told off by the teacher. And they do form an orderly line, an orderly queue.
Excellent.
And the first person at the front, are you a boy or a girl?
I am a male. It's understandable. Elves have very fine features, which you attribute to male or female, amongst your species. Well, maybe not your species. What do your women look like? And I whisper to him, what do your women look like?
They look as nice as a steak pie. Yes, fine, and smelling good. Yes,
okay, but
fine
that was
steak pie.
That was your question, good sir.
Yes, indeed. And he sort of goes to the back of the queue. Next one comes up. Do you like being an elf?
I gotta lean over to Johan and go, this could go on for a while. Do we talk to
I do like being an elf.
I'm going to talk to the barman.
I do like being an elf. However, it's difficult in these human lands because I'm referred to as the pointy-eared git, or the elf, or they don't tend to use my name. So I imagine that you also meet this level of discrimination amongst the humans.
The next, he goes to the back again, and he sort of seems excited as he's going to ask a question in a bit. And the next one walks up, and she's quite cheeky-looking female halfling. Her clothes are very dirty, and she looks like she's been rolling around in the floor. But again, she looks really excited to see you. You're an elf, aren't you? Who would win
That's
in
your
a
question.
fight between you and the dwarf?
The dwarf.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
He's,
And then she
he's
goes to the
tougher
back of
and
the
he's stronger, big ham hands.
And this goes on for quite a while, and they go on. And we shall go to Johan at the bar.
Up to the barman. Are you Gert Hunder?
Yeah, I'm Gert. What can I do for you, friend?
I was told you might be able to point me in the right direction. We're looking for an elven princeling by the name of Lorindar, who was last seen with a halfling claiming to be Sethlin Lowhaven.
Yeah, as it happens, about a month ago, 5 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he quite a noticeable character in this establishment, to be fair. But he came in and he had a meeting with Sethlin. He's the halfling over there who's talking to the warrior. Is he a warrior, or the one with the sword?
Yes, the knight.
Yes. He had a meeting with Sethlin, and then he left with another halfling, I believe.
Do you know which halfling?
Rendell Lowhaven.
Rendell Lowhaven. Could you describe? Is Rendell here?
He looks like a fatter version of Sethlin over there, to be fair. Only he hasn't got a beard. He's just got big, chunky sideburns, chops, buttons, whatever.
Okay, when was the last time you saw when Rendell?
Well, actually, Rendell's been missing for quite a while. I know the Lowhaven clan have been looking for him. In fact, they've had a meeting about it this morning again. He's been missing since he left the establishment with said elf.
Did he happen to mention where they were going?
Oh, no, not to me, sir.
Do you know if he spoke to anyone else before he left?
No, I believe Levi was over there, and Sethlin, and they put him together with Rendell. But yeah, unfortunately, we fear the worst for Rendell, to be honest. The clan was going to go over and see the elf's wife, I believe, and there was talk of taking hostages and all sorts of things, so they could get the safe return of their clan member.
As amusing as that would be, the elf is also missing.
Really?
Yes, that's why we are here.
Oh, okay. So they're both missing.
Yes, so it's logical to assume they're missing in the same place.
Possibly. Well, yeah. I would thought that's quite a sensible guess.
They did mention that they were looking for a tomb. Has anyone mentioned anything of an elf tomb to you? Again,
things go in one ear and out the other. Especially with these lot. You can never. I have to keep a close eye on the money box. They're climbing over the counter and pouring their own drinks and all sorts. Let me tell you, but they pay well, and they're regular drinkers. So,
just kind of say softly, could be worse, could be elves.
Yeah, like that one over there.
Indeed, he's not so bad as elves go. There's a lot worse. But thank you. I will go and have a word with. I'll try to have a word with the halflings, as long as they can pry themselves away from the elf for a minute.
Mr. Elf, is your hair real or is it a wig?
My hair is real.
Could I pull it to make sure? And he
No.
reaches up.
And I slap his hand away. No, that's not proper.
Are you sure it's not a wig?
I'm 100% sure it's not a wig, but you'll just have to take my word for it.
And he goes to the back of the queue. And that's how it works. Why can't you elves grow really big chops like ours? Yeah, curly chops.
To elves, facial hair is undignified, and thus we do not have facial hair. Plus, we can't really grow it. It would look really bad and patchy if we tried.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to kind of just walk up to...
Carolyn has been spending this time half watching the halflings to make sure they don't steal anything from either herself or Ilmarin, and half just laughing at the show.
I'll just kind of whisper in Ilmarin's ear. Rendell Lowhaven has gone missing alongside Lorendar. See if you can find out from them where they went.
Okay. So, my friends, you've asked me many questions. I feel like it's my turn to ask you a question.
Is it true that when the elves talk to each other, they sing?
That's sometimes very true.
I am a halfling. Are you an elf?
Yes, I am. Just like that.
That's piggin' marvellous. I really like that idea.
Can you tell me where Rendell went with the other elf?
Do you know where Rendell is?
No, we're looking for the elf, and it turns out that Rendell might also be missing with the elf.
Oh, maybe you should talk to Cephalon, our clan leader.
We will do that. Thank you for your help.
So at this point, I turn back to Cephalon and I'm like, so from all of the singing, I gather that you're looking for the guide that you sent with the Elf Lord. It sounds like our purposes align as opposed to cross.
Yeah, we were just discussing the best way to kidnap the elf's wife and to find out what she'd done with Randall.
Well, we've actually been hired by the elf's wife to find him because he has been missing for exactly
he sort of
as
arches
long
back
as
on
Randall.
his seat and puts his hand over his dagger. Oh yeah, what you come for then, hey?
To try to find out where both your missing halfling and our missing elf went so we can go retrieve them.
I see what you're saying. Well,
in the background,
the
all of a sudden the lute starts playing.
And Ilmarin apparently wants to take up a career as a halfling entertainer, but
the lute is playing well. I got 2 successes.
So one of the halflings walks up to the dwarf. Mr. Dwarf, are you dancing?
No, lad, I ain't be dancing.
I've heard the dwarves are quite good at jigging.
Not this one, lad.
Oh, killjoy. Bah.
Not quite, lad, but I don't be no dancer like.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll kind of wander over towards Hagen and Cephalon.
Yeah, if it was possible to have a halfling mosh pit, that's what it is, sort of thing. Trying to sort of force their way to the front to get the best view of the elven rock star as he's playing. And there's lots of elbows flying and halflings being pushed over, and it's quite a little swarm of little folk with big sideburns.
And Ilmarin's just on a table, like playing this. He's actually really enjoying himself right now.
Can I try and sing along?
It'd be great if Gerhard gets dragged off the table. Come on.
In theory, I've got perfect pitch, but I need to find where the performance is.
Nice.
Yes.
Like, I have perfect pitch talent, but I don't know where the performance sing or
And you have to
It's
remember
a skill. If you don't have it, then it would just be fellowship, I guess.
and you have
Yes.
to remember that Gerhardt is a metal wizard.
I'm not sure that Luke can quite handle that.
I'm sure he's got a
I think
spell
the
for
mosh
that.
pit would have music, something from like The Prodigy or something like that.
So I don't actually have the skill. I thought I got it with perfect pitch. But
Everyone loves a bit of bardcore.
Awesome.
Barbarians. Anyway, yeah, your elf. He came in with a piece of parchment cloth. It was with a diagram of the sewers or part of the sewers, asking if we knew where it were. He said he was seeking out some old tomb, ancient tomb down there.
Could you tell us where that is so we can try and recover them?
I couldn't tell you where it would be quite complicated, but what I could do is I could send Levi with you. He knows of where its location is.
I'm sure Ilmarin, I'll say, kind of gesturing with my head back towards the elf, would like the company. But yes, that would be appreciated. We need to.
Ilmarin's just in the
down
background hitting some
Lorindar.
major rifts right now. Everyone's going nuts.
So Levi leans forward and says, "Yeah, I can take you down there. Not a problem. But I suggest, if you got any rope."
We can acquire some rope.
Why would we?
Maybe if you gather some rope and then we could go down there. You'll need torches as well because it's very dark down there in the sewers. You get used to the smell, yeah.
What do we need the rope for?
But wear old
Climbing?
boots. Definitely old boots.
Are we going climbing? Is that why we need rope?
Yeah, sort of, yes.
I see. Okay, well, we will go and obtain the necessaries. We won't be long. If you could be ready to leave shortly.
Okay, yeah, I'll get ready.
And at that point, before we leave, Hagen turns, pulls another shilling out, and hands it over to Levi and says, "Thank you very much for your assistance, and I apologize if I was rude with you earlier. It was unbecoming of me."
That's no problem. I'll meet you here in an hour, yeah?
We look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, and we'll
Okay.
see if we can recover Rendell for you.
And shall we have a 5-minute break there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Sure.
So, yes, it is a deep sewer. Yes, definitely, minor. Yeah, so we're going to have a 5-minute break now for toilet and so forth and drinks and things. And we'll see you back here in 5. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Lovely.
I'm assuming we're off, Colin.
Say hello and welcome back to the second session of Once Upon a Time in the Old World. I hope you're enjoying it so far. We're going to jump straight back in after the break. So you go back to get what bits and pieces you think you might need. And you agree to meet Levi back at the tavern in an hour. Is there anything particular that you're going to be taking with you?
Change into all the old clothes, nothing that we'd want to get dirty.
Agreed.
Um,
Don't have a second set.
Old
rope,
clothes.
Only
rope,
yeah.
torches, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Armor and weapons,
I've been carrying my staff. the
where
whole
we
time.
have it.
So hold on. Out of character for a second. They said bring torches.
You can see in the dark. You're a dwarf.
Yeah, but it is a sewer with like lots of gases and stuff. Maybe we should take a lantern.
Nice hooded lantern.
Lanterns are 12 shillings, though, I think.
Oh, forget it.
We don't have that kind of money.
Let's blow up the town.
We've already spat
terrible
what money we
noble.
collected.
Torches it is.
No, they'll just burn brighter than you'd expect.
Occasionally igniting pockets of gas. What fun.
Ah, no, little
It's fine.
explosion
Who
doesn't
needs
hurt.
eyebrows?
Though we might want to pick up a crowbar just in case we have to lever something open.
That's not a bad idea.
And did you get rope?
Yes, rope and
Yes, we will buy rope, however much rope is.
Rope.
Oh, and some kind of wrap I can kind of wrap around my face because it's going to stink down there.
Yeah, Ilmarin picked up one of his less fancy scarves to wrap around his face.
Okay.
He's also sprayed, a little bit of spice and on the back of it.
Okay, so you can pick 50 foot of rope up for 5 shillings.
Okay.
Well, that's a shilling each, almost.
Yeah.
Not quite, because there's 6 of us, but
Just get
And how much are torches?
60 foot. Or an additional.
Yeah, they're a shilling each.
a crowbar.
Or 6 shillings.
All right, I'll get the crowbar.
All right, I'll throw a shilling in to help get the rest. If everyone else throws a shilling in, that should cover it.
done.
Okay. So as you return to the tavern, there's a big crowd of well tooled up halflings outside, and Levi stood in front of them. And as you get closer, you realise that all these halflings, apart from Levi, are giving you the 1,000-yard stare, or trying to, while they're tapping their clubs, bar stool legs, on their hands.
Here now, fellas. Who else thinks we might be dealing with the Halfling Mafia?
Well, not exactly a fight I'd want, but
Look, we've got to find this elf. We've got to get paid. We need that halfling to show us how to get to that elf.
My guess,
Once he's
they're
dead.
just wanting to make it very clear that if we do the same to Levi as whatever that elf did to the last halfling, they want to make it clear what's going to happen.
We don't think
I
it was the
suppose.
elf that did it to him.
We're gonna
No,
have
but
very
they do.
They want us to make very sure to us that we all know we'd get very sore ankles.
Yeah, something like that.
right, Levi, we understand the message. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, my brethren just wanted to say that I better not be going the same way as Rendell, yeah, because they think that the elves sold Rendell into slavery.
Right.
Well,
so
we're not selling you
I'd
to
appreciate-
anyone. We just need a guide to show us where they went.
I mean, it don't surprise me, him being an elf though.
Elves don't do slavery.
That's not what I've heard. But anyway, let's get going.
Dark elves do slavery. Druki do slavery, not high elves. We don't believe in
Well,
that.
Elves.
Levi, if you don't come back, more than likely we won't be coming back either. So the point is moot. But we get your meaning. In fact, if there's any doubt, you can find us through the Lady Notch. But we've got a mission. So, Levi, if you'll lead on, we'll get this over with.
Okay, so he leads you down the closest alleyway to the end, where he sort of pulls the grate away at the bottom of a building, and sort of climbs inside. He's got a big red nose and a white face, and he says, "They all float down here." No, not really. He turns around and says, "You might want to grease the dwarf up. He might not fit through this hole."
I'm not going to speak for Mordek.
Nobody greases up a dwarf.
Nor do they toss them, from my understanding. But that's another matter altogether.
Unless they be a less lad, they be a dwarf lady.
Why would a dwarf lady throw a dwarf male? What's that about?
Lead on, Levi.
Oh, God. I'll tell you when you're older, Carolyn says, patting Ilmarin on the shoulder.
Okay. Ilmarin is actually surprisingly young for an elf, so actually, I mean, he's probably the equivalent of a human.
I'm so sorry, I'm having a breakdown.
He's probably the equivalent of a young human, like sort of adult. So he's very young for an elf.
So as you climb through the grate, you immediately onto a floor, and then it's quite a small ledge, and then there's this rope tied around this iron eye at the back of where the grate was, and you can see the halfling disappearing as he lowers himself down on the rope.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to kind of put the thing up around my face to cover the smell and go down.
There is quite a bit of a bad whiff at the moment.
I put my hand up. Hagen puts up his hand to Johan and says, "Let me go first."
All right.
So who
know you
out
like
of
being
you
present.
is wearing a face covering?
Oh, I am.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I've doused mine with some spices and that to make it smell a bit nice.
Yeah, I am as well.
So everybody's got a face covering on.
So we look like burglars.
Okay.
I mean, come
Okay,
on,
so-
what is my character's career?
So, Hagen, do you have any sort of climbing skill?
Well, yeah. Well, no, I've got no ranks in it, but I've got a 46 strength, so I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. No modifier for the rope or anything?
Yeah, you can have a plus 20 modifier.
A marginal success. I get down the rope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Himself down.
I'll follow down.
Getting down
Okay.
isn't the hard part. It's getting down without breaking anything.
It's roughly about 15 feet down. Okay, Johan as well. He lowers himself down.
And then kind of move out of the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Does
graceful
Ilmarin
elf.
have a does Ilmarin have
I don't think I have
reroll?
any. No, I might have to try and make it look cool by doing some sort of athletics roll to make it like graceful.
I think by that point you've stacked it.
Then yes, I'm falling and it's probably going to hurt.
Oh, can I roll
Okay.
next so I can fall on top of him? Well,
Have you got some form of tumbling skill or?
I don't think so. Acute senses, sixth sense, 12. No. I'll just good at athletics.
Elmarin, you just got to re-roll.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mojo.
All right. Thank you very much.
Someone
but
doesn't
I'm
want the
probably...
elf to break his neck.
Nice.
Wow.
So basically, what happens is I slip and I turn it into some sort of flip, and I actually just land.
Yeah, it's almost Mission Impossible Tom Cruise as you sort of stop yourself just millimeters
Then
from the
let the
floor
dwarf
as
roll.
you've sort of grabbed hold of the rope with your legs, yeah, and you sort of roll yourself onto the floor and up again.
And then I stand up.
Yeah, those down at the bottom already are very impressed with the skill.
Elmarin, that was pretty graceful. I have to admit.
Well, I must say, we elves are very graceful. And he turns around and he's like... Now everyone stand clear because I think
I
the
failed.
dwarf is coming down.
You do
No,
have
that's
a
the
reroll,
wizard.
Kevin. Someone gave you one earlier.
That's all right.
Were
Might save that
we
for
doing
later.
it off strength?
Don't forget, you've also got fortune
Yeah.
points. So you...
It's all right.
Yeah, there's quite a few rerolls.
Oh, man.
Stand clear, the dwarf's coming in.
Dan,
If you want to
get
spend a
plus
fortune
20.
point,
Oh, sorry.
then-
Yeah, plus 20.
You
I
still
still
fail.
fail with plus 20.
Still a fail.
But it'd only be a marginal
yeah.
fail.
Yeah. So you've sort of you sort of slip down the rope and give yourself a bit of a friction burn on the old palms of your hands, even though you have got dwarf man hands. So you keep telling everybody. They are very sort of red and inflamed at the moment.
Very nice.
Miss
failed that
Radamaka, she again, she looks like she's done this before. You know, used rope to climb down things, or
Yeah.
Gerhard, you have got a reroll. Do you wanna...
No, I'm happy to fail it. I think it'll be more in line with what would happen to me.
Okay. So, just do me a favour and roll me. Is there a D6 that you can roll?
You should be able to just do /roll d6. They are 5.
Okay, so you sort of slip down, but again, the failure wasn't really that bad. But you've landed yourself on top of a dwarf, and you're sort of both lying there in a heap on the floor, and you sort of on your backs and like almost covering your face in water and floating things. Yeah, and it smells really foul.
Apologies, Master Mordic.
So could everybody make me a toughness roll, please?
Alan, get off me! Get off me!
Just flat toughness, or
you get plus 20 to it.
is it
you've got
endurance or
5.
toughness?
Endurance, really.
Yes, apparently.
Excellent.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I didn't
good
like
job.
that.
Okay.
There,
So, was it with a plus 20, did you say?
Yes. So, Elmarin, as the wizard sort of crash landed onto the dwarf,
Flashback. Oh no.
you were in splash range, and something rather sloppy and mud-like has hit you
Surely I would have used athletics to get out of the way rather than endurance.
It's not very hot, so your if for vision, you couldn't see it coming, and it's only got you on the cheek, but it's smelling quite rank. Yeah. And Gerhardt, as
Gerhardt
you
landed
sort of
in it.
took a mouthful of water, there was something a little bit more solid there as well, and you feel quite sick.
That would be pretty bad, to be fair. Whoa.
I think it's for the best that I took that soap allowance now.
Yes, I think we're all going to need a wash after this.
This is
So,
quite
Ilmarin and Gerhardt, you spent the next 5 minutes sort of emptying your stomachs. Yeah.
I take off my scented thing and wipe my face, throw it in the dump, and then get out another one out of an inner pocket. I came prepared.
Okay.
After heaving my guts up a little bit.
After he takes it off, I'm gonna be like, you've got a little something on your cheek.
Yes,
of course,
I cleaned it up.
In downtime between now and
I'll
next
say that
week,
after you've wiped it.
we'll have a look at just to make sure that you've caught nothing especially bad, or But yes, okay. So the halfling sort of leads you down, sort of ankle deep water, if you could call it that. Foul smelling. This is probably one of the worst smells that you've ever been a partial, been party to. It's pure stink, pure stench. Almost smells as bad as the dwarf, in fact. No, I didn't say that.
Hagen has his longsword out, just in case we run across anything lurking in the sewer.
Yeah, I'll be holding my pistol.
Caroline will have her sword out as well.
I'm going to try and cast light on the top of my head.
Smells like Bretonia down here. It's rancid.
Yay, +2.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Light that might be slightly less likely to blow us up.
Okay, so
It's 42, but actually it's 82 or an hour and 20 because I got additional.
Excellent. Yes, your local wizard provides light.
He's good at that, apparently. Not seen him do much else, but the light is
the
pretty
only
useful.
spell that succeeds so far. Yeah.
Does the whole Gandalf thing. I think I can afford a little more light here.
And with the light comes realization that it was your worst fear, what had hit you in the face, and you'd almost swallowed. Yeah, and again, you spend the next 2 minutes sort of retching, trying to bring up something that's not there.
Kind of
It wouldn't be Jim if someone wasn't puking.
pat a dry patch on Gerhardt's back.
Gerhardt, between you and Johann, the things you choose to eat in the last 48 hours.
Choose is not the word I would use.
Get a bit of a dirty look from Johan for that.
You have to admit, brother, that is funny.
Okay. And the halfling leads you down this quite, and you seem to be going down. It seems to, like,
go with the flow.
Almost slope downwards, yeah. And you get deeper and deeper and deeper down in this sewer.
I lean over to Levi and I say, Levi, if we run across something particularly unpleasant down here, you need to get back to the surface and tell your clansmates what you've seen down here. Regardless of what they think, we're honestly here to try to save both your cousin and this elf lord. I don't want to see you get caught in whatever they got caught in.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can live with that. If you want me to make haste to, run like a bugger, I will do. Yeah, absolutely.
You be the judge of when to do it, but if something looks that dangerous, then protect yourself and let others know what happened.
Start by standing behind us, because we may still need you as a guide after we've dealt with whatever it was.
It's not like there's giant human-sized rats living down in a sewer, is it?
Now that's just ridiculous.
Urban
Old wives' tale.
No, lad, it ain't.
So you carry on walking
Oh, and-
for roughly nearly an hour, and every now and again you're sort of looking behind you, and you almost feel like you're being watched. Ilmarin, especially your senses are on overload, and every now and again you can almost swear that you've seen red eyes in the distance, in the darkness.
Mr. GM, do I need to make an intuition test on my sixth sense skill?
Yes, you can do. Yeah.
Well, it's up to you.
You
You do that. You'd say if you think it's a thing that I might need to be intuitioning. Let's roll it.
Yeah.
Intuiting?
Oh, that's amazing.
Man.
So you're almost certain that you're being followed, but you're being followed from a distance. They're not getting any closer, whoever's following you. And they, as you sort of every now and again catch a glimpse, but almost as quickly as the glimpse you've got, they're gone. But yeah, they're definitely man size.
I'm going to knock an arrow, and I'm going to lean over to Johan and Hagen. We're being followed. There's something down here with us.
You'll just hear click as I cock the pistol.
Are they moving closer?
They're
Shooting
watching
the
us.
gunpowder weapon down in the sewers. Oh,
No,
Right.
What could go wrong?
Nothing
what indeed
whatsoever.
could go wrong?
I think they're scouting us. They're staying at a distance.
If they start to get closer, let me know and I'll take the rear guard.
Okay.
Towlin was already near the back, so she was near the back coming down. She'll probably be near the back as it is.
So you travel again for roughly 15 minutes more. Monarch says you're being followed in the dark, my precious. Again, you keep looking round. You can swear. I mean, everybody has the feeling they're being followed and watched. But Ilmarin, again, you sort of catch a glimpse, but nothing more than eyes. But like I say, as quickly as you see them, they disappear. But they get no nearer. You eventually get to a hole in the wall. It looks like it's been set about with a hammer, a rather large hammer. In fact, there's a hammer lying down on the floor, a big mallet type of hammer. And the stone has been knocked through, and there seems to be a small corridor beyond it.
Master Mordek, with your dwarf knowledge, can you tell how long ago this hole was made?
Don't know, lad. Let me have one look. There. What can I roll?
You have like trade minor or something
Yeah.
relevant?
No.
Roll your ranks in
Alright.
dwarf.
Can I look at it from an engineering point of view?
Yeah, I mean, if you want, Mr. Dwarf, you can bend the truth a little if you don't want to be.
I've got Lord
Shown.
Dwarves. Can I use that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, you can use that.
Any bonuses or negatives?
No, just a normal.
Okay.
Can I
Here
also
we
look
go.
at it from an engineering point of view?
Marginal success.
Yeah, Kush can. Yeah, definitely.
See if I can, how bad I can screw up a trade engineering test today.
6 re-rolls later.
Nice.
Oh, 3
Oh.
6 stars.
Okay, so both of you, this has been here a long time, and probably longer than you could imagine. And through the wall, the stone on the other side looks even older. It looks like it's been crafted by dwarves.
Oh, dwarves.
This be, oh lad, this be dowie craftsmanship. This be the best kind of stonework.
Must be the original sewers, I'd imagine. I think they were built by dwarves. A lot of them were.
This be older than that.
Well, then perhaps this is the way our missing dwarf or our missing elf and halfling went.
Aye, manling. I reckon you'd be right.
Well, then let's continue on and see what we may find.
Okay, you roughly travel on again for about 15 minutes down this long, winding passageway. And
my light ran out, so I cast it again.
Yeah, you did.
Like a boss.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
technically it would be a critical success, but because it's a critical, it's a minor miscast. Is that what I mean?
Do you want to spend a fortune point?
Nah. What's the worst that could happen? He might just turn into a demon.
I don't want to bloodthirster, thank you.
so
Living as much as a large bonfire, which lasts for 1 round. Okay. But I still get the +5 successes.
Okay.
So,
he's
could
just a lot
you,
brighter.
Could you make a weapon skill roll for me, please, Gerhardt?
Sorry. The effect of your spell cast occurs somewhere within 9 miles. So something
could you roll me a
has started
d6,
glowing.
please, Gerhardt?
Oh, sure. I'm not even sure if I should be re-rolling any of these, but let's just see what the dice say. Cool.
Okay. So this flares up the light, like you say, into almost a raging bonfire on the end of your staff. And you sort of try and sort of hold it at bay. But by doing so, you waft it past Ilmarin's hair.
It's not fire. It's light as bright as a fire. Okay,
only,
just for clarity.
Not much, but you've definitely singed his hair.
But it's not
There's a
fire.
horrible
It's light
smell
as
of
bright as a bonfire.
You bleached it.
Emitting as much light as
You
a
grow
large
with an
bonfire.
eerie
Important
light.
distinction.
Yes.
It can't hurt anyone.
Apparently it can.
That's why it's a minor miscast.
Yeah, it didn't hurt him. It just singed his hair.
You mucked up his do.
It's frizzy now. But also my next light lasts longer.
Your side quiff is now a little bit curly at the end. And,
This is why they should have never taught humans how to do magic.
Elmara, it's a good look on you. It's a good look on you. I look over at Johanna and go, oh no, that's so bad.
Yeah, how do we stifling a laugh going?
This is the worst thing is there's not any human barbers worth their salt who can now deal with this. Great. Thank you, Gerhardt. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
and to make matters worse, Ilmarin, you've got to share a room with this man.
Oh yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah. Okay.
Rerolls
Eventually, you come to a rather large hole on the floor that has got 2 wooden. It's like a wooden lid, but it's in half, and 2 wooden flaps are folded backwards, leading. And there is a very dark hole and you can't see the bottom to it.
Can we throw a torch down? See how far it goes?
Absolutely.
Throw the wizard down.
Right now, Ilmaring is very much willing to agree with that idea.
Oh, hey up, lad. I don't like this. You and me are agreeing on way too much.
Okay, so you throw the torch down and it hits the floor. It looks like there's somebody down there that's not moving.
Big, small.
How far down?
On the floor.
I don't know how far
down is
down
the
is
floor?
the...
Oh, it's about just over 50 feet down.
So our rope could just about manage it.
Yeah. But the sides of this hole are very dank and wet and slippery.
So in other words, we'd have to lower someone down.
You think that's about the safer way of doing it, yeah, rather than them climbing down.
Who's the lightest?
Probably
Dare I
you.
ask? I just realised as I said that it's probably going to be the elf.
Let's lower Ilmarin down. He's the lightest. We can do it more easily.
Oh, I did not agree to this. This is when I joined your party, Johan, and I said I wanted to see a bit more of the old world. When I came to your university, this is not what I had in
I'll
mind.
go down.
There's more of it down there.
Carolyn's a fine hand with a weapon. Perhaps she should go.
I'll go down.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so you lower Carolyn down. I'm not going to make you roll for strength checks or anything because you're between you can all manage it, and you sort of just have to drop off the rope for the sort of last 3 or 4 feet down to the floor.
Yeah, that's not much, so sure.
On the floor of this round hole is what looks like a long dead elf, slightly decomposed, wearing almost adventuring gear, but very expensive adventuring gear.
Before I check the elf, I'm checking the area. I don't want anything sneaking up on me while I'm looking at the dead elf.
Okay, so as you look round, there is a door that is slightly ajar. And all around the door, on the frame of the door, is writing that you don't understand.
It's like most writing, then. Carolyn can't read or write, so, you know.
Yeah,
there's
it
writing.
could be anything.
There's someone scratched some stuff. Okay, I recognise writing anywhere.
And there's a rope that's been put over the top of this door, and there is a halfling hanging from the rope. It looks like someone put a rope around the halfling's neck and then pulled him up over the door, and he's sort of hanging from the rope of this. The door's roughly about 7 foot tall.
I'll just... She considers whether or not to call up, but figures they've probably made enough noise by this point to that anything would have heard us coming. Well, I found both of them.
I'm assuming, by the way you say that neither one of them are alive.
Nope. Not in the slightest.
Well,
What else can you see down there?
Let's get him up.
You found Rendell?
I found bodies.
Are you all right, Rendell?
No, he is not.
Oh, no. Oh.
Can you tie him on? We can pull him back up.
I think another one of us should
Another one down here would be good. Yeah.
I'll go then. I'm the next lightest.
Also, there's some writing down here you might want to read. If it's that elf writing, then you've got the best chance of reading it. I don't know. It's writing.
Johan has a pretty decent chance too.
Well, I read and write, and I have an Eltharian, so
If it's Elvish.
But he's got like 7 languages and he reads and writes.
showing off now.
Anyway, now
you
that
love
that's
it.
going
You-
on, I'm going to check the elf. I want to see if there's any signs of what killed the elf.
Um,
I'm being lowered down.
See if I can.
it looks like there's blood on the floor, and dried blood on the floor, and it looks like he's been. But you can almost see just a trickle of blood along his neck, and there is a wound there, but it's almost closed up. Some very thin weapon, like a needle almost, has gone into his neck.
Stiletto. Yeah. Okay. I
Okay.
imagine Carolyn's at least heard of such a
Yeah.
weapon, even if she's not particularly encountered
Yeah,
someone who
absolutely.
uses it.
Yeah. So, Elmarin, you get down there.
I believe this is definitely our missing prince.
Does he have the scar at least? I don't know whether the birthmark would have survived this long.
Yeah, there looks like there's. His face is very drawn, but yeah, you can see the remnants of a scar and a birthmark.
Let's tie him up then and send him up.
Aye.
So something catches your eye as you're down there, Elmarin, and you can see this elven writing around this doorway.
Does he look
And
old?
It is an ancient elven tongue, but you sort of make me an elven lore roll.
Assuming I have elven law somewhere. I actually don't have elven law. I just have language Elefarian.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, make that. You can get plus 20 for that.
Oh, plus 20. In which case, that'd be 64.
Okay.
So that'd be 1
So-
73.
You don't fully understand exactly
No,
what it
33.
says, but you can basically get the gist of it. And it says, beyond this door is an ancient evil, and none with evil in their hearts may enter.
Mm.
And it almost looks like a seal of some form. And
But it's
you've
clearly
been around elves and that. It almost looks magical.
But the door was slightly open, wasn't it?
Yeah, the door is slightly open.
Oh dear.
Okay, is the halfling still hanging from it?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, did you cut him down, Colin?
Not yet. That was kind of going to be my next thing, but I didn't want to do that while I was on my own.
Okay. Well, I think our first port of call should be to tie the elf and have him sent up.
Okay, we'll get
And
the
then we'll
elf.
cut down the
Get the elf
halfling.
going up, and then we'll get the halfling down.
So yeah, there's as you tie him up, he seems to have all his possessions on him. He doesn't look like he's been robbed.
And nor shall he be.
No.
Looking at Carolyn and then shouting it loud enough so the group above can hear it.
Winking up top. Sure.
So you pull the rope up, and like I said, there's
Decomposing elf.
a decomposing elf dressed in fine regalia, adventuring gear. You probably got he's got chaps on and very fine hunting boots and a leather jack that is.
Who wears fine hunting boots in a sewer?
Exactly.
Told you he was stupid.
That's a lot of money.
He's even got himself a headband. But yeah, he'd almost gone to the designer Dungeoneer shop.
Does he have a purse on
Outlet.
him?
he does indeed have a purse on him. He also has a rather nice sword, and he has a quiver with a bow stuck in it, an unstringed bow, and some arrows as well.
Ilmarin would have made a count of all of these items before he sent the elf up.
Would you
And
know that's a lot of time?
On his right hand, he does have a ring with quite a sizable sapphire, if it is a sapphire on top. It does look quite an expensive ring.
Some of those things are far too personal and would be very obvious if they were taken. The purse, however, how much is in said purse?
12 shillings.
I'll leave the purse itself, but take the shillings.
Okay.
We're not getting paid very much for this anyway.
1 gold a head. It's not about the payment. It's about respect and honour.
No, it's about the money.
Well, I'm not having this conversation with you because I'm down below. That was our character.
Yeah. Carolyn will cut down the will cut down the halfling. Carry
I'll kind
carry
of,
him
as
over.
I do it, I'll kind of
So
make the
as you cut
gesture
it
at
down, the
three
door
up there.
opens right up. It sort of makes this creaking noise, and
Carolyn
it's
backs
sort of
up very hurriedly.
it's an heavy door, and it sort of bangs when it reaches its limit as it opens inwards.
I didn't touch it.
Are you all right down there?
What are you doing?
We're fine, I think.
So the light from the torch on the floor that's still just
Yeah.
about burning
Yeah.
shows
She would have picked it
stone-
up at some point, actually, because she would have been using it to look around, but probably she would have had to have rested it down to get the halfling down.
You see a stone plinth in the middle that's roughly about 7 foot long. And what looks like some see-through container that looks like it's been broken or shattered.
Backing away.
And at the end of the plinth is quite a big stone sort of tablet, and there looks like there's been maybe a sword attached to it at some point, and the dust and the dirt around it has sort of left an imprint.
Someone's been and nicked a magical sword.
Yeah.
How big did you say the glass container was?
It's about 7 foot, maybe just under long.
Big enough to have some, say, life form inside it?
Yeah, it could be some form of coffin, yeah.
Are there any sort of like inscriptions inside that we can see from sort of the doorway?
So you look in, and there's lots of pictures of battles and almost barbarian clans fighting against dark elves and creatures of possibly chaos demons and things, but it looks like a winning battle on the human side, and there's pictures of the of lots of human victories almost.
Carolyn is not looking at these things. She is dealing with getting the
at the back of the room
halfling
is
up. She really
a
just doesn't
stone
want to
throne.
Stone throne. Is there any writing or anything on it?
No, it's just very finely carved, made.
Young Moran, what do you see down there? Don't
What do
keep
your
us up here in
elven-
suspense.
What do your elven eyes see?
Are
Okay.
you sending the halfling?
When you send the rope,
The rope's already back down.
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
Lauren has
Carolyn
even
is
told
attaching the
us-
halfling to the end of the rope.
Make me a perception roll, Ilmarin.
He hasn't even told us what's written on the wall. So
I don't even know there's a door down.
You can make me one as well, Caroline, if you want.
I succeeded.
I'm trying not to look. I'm keeping an eye on the area around. You know, like I'm keeping an eye on in case anything approaches or anything like that. But I'm not.
There seems to be what
attention
looks
down
like
the corridor.
Yeah, you've caught a glint of a silver beaded necklace on the throne, but it doesn't look. You're close enough to see that it looks like it's disturbed the dust on there rather than being covered in it.
I'm gonna go walk in and have a look.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm gonna walk in, but I'm very, very cautiously walking in. I'm not just like parading myself through going.
Are you going to mention any of this to us upstairs? You can't.
None whatsoever.
Yeah,
You have no right to know about Elven
Okay,
Ruins.
Excellent. I'm so happy to be here.
I think. I think whoever killed them stole a like ancient magical sword or something. I'm really not clear. But
Is there a tomb down there?
maybe that might be a good word. Ilmarin's going and having a look. I really don't
By
want to.
himself?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, tie the halfling up. No one cares about the bloody thing. Let's just get out of here. We've got what we came for.
I'm assuming you mean the tomb by that, not the halfling.
Send the halfling up. We don't care about the rest.
Yeah, good. Okay. I just thought you might not want to say that no one... Fine.
So
She's already
the
timed
throne
that
is on a raised plinth of stone, and as you get closer, it's obvious that this necklace hasn't been here that long, and it seems to have disturbed the thick dust coating on top of this throne seat.
Does it look like that there was something else there, like the dust and whatnot? Does it look like something else was on the pedestal before said necklace?
No.
And there's nothing else in here.
Just fine pictures and things.
Nothing to identify who might have been entombed.
Make me a perception roll.
No, marginal fail.
Okay. You read in Alvin around the side, Darkbringer.
Okay. I am going to leave. I'm going to close the door behind me as I leave. I'm not going to touch the necklace. It's been placed there for a reason.
Okay, so you walk across the tomb, and you grab hold of the door, and as you sort of move it, there's something written on the back of the door.
Oh, what does it say?
Again, you can't really sort of read it, but you read the name Maglis. And you also read the name Nagash.
What?
Bugger.
What?
But where you've read the name Nagash seems to be maybe something to do with a weapon, or it's a bladed weapon of some form. Maglis seems to be in the text of someone imprisoned here, and the name Nagash seems to owe itself to a weapon of some form, a bladed weapon.
Dear God.
I don't think you're going to chop his arm off with this character.
That's good memory.
It was.
So yeah, at that point, I'm going to close the door. And I'm not sure in character what my person would know about these kind of bits and pieces. So I'm just going to probably.
I know that Carolyn knows nothing about any of this, but also
Yeah,
can't
I mean-
read it, so doesn't even know that it was written there. So
Knowing about Nagash is probably quite specialist knowledge.
Yes. So that's fine. I take those two names down. I kind of like log them in my little elven brain, and I'm assuming that we've seen nothing else down here. So we're going to make our way out.
Before you go up, Minak has requested that you sit on the throne. Apparently, you want to.
He is correct. I really did want to, but I'm not going to.
I was waiting for Carolyn just to shut the door with him inside.
So no, Ilmarin is not, as everyone else says, a stupid elf
Just cowardly.
or foolish. A little bit cowardly. Survival instincts. He has a lot of them. So Ilmarin is not going to sit on the throne as much as I would like to. And he's just going to make his way out with the two names, which mean nothing to him, I don't think, really. But what he's probably going to do when he gets out of all this is send those two names to his family in Altdorf, because there might be an elven scholar somewhere who knows those names.
Okay.
While he's down there, Hagen, just out of curiosity, will check the elf lord's sword to see how fine of craftsmanship it was.
Okay.
I will be making sure that we're not being watched. Keeping an eye out.
Again, you seem to be, and you've got that feeling. You know that feeling that you get as a kid when you're upstairs and you sort of start walking downstairs and you start to run because you could swear there's someone chasing you.
I remember.
Yeah, it's almost that feeling.
well, if nothing gets in the way, we'll come back up.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you're lifted to the top. No problem. No roll needed.
Excellent. First thing I want to do is make sure that Elven Prince has a lot of his belongings still attached to him.
He's got a very nice looking sword that Hagen is looking over at the moment. It's got some elven writing on the blade itself, and the hilt is it's got folded gold on there and silver. It's very ornamental, but it looks very sharp, very nice.
To be honest, I'd probably have wrapped the elf in a blanket while we were waiting for everyone to come back up, because walking through the streets carrying a random corpse doesn't look too good.
True.
Pretty much.
So
I asked
cloak
Hagen
one.
politely to put the sword back in its scabbard.
I will, Ilmarin. I was just interested to see how, based on how he was dressed, if he was actually carrying a weapon of worth or not. That is all. I have no intention of stealing from the dead.
All elven weapons are weapons of worth, my friend, even the ornamental ones.
Yes, it does seem to be finely crafted, but what did you see down there?
An empty tomb.
Well then, we've completed our mission, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose we ought to take the body back, and we found your halfling friend as well. Unfortunately, we were obviously not able to find him alive, but at least you'll be able to take him back to your clan now.
Yeah, Levi's sort of sitting crouched and against the wall, crying rather loudly.
Excellent.
Really snotty crying as well.
Well, let's get going. I don't want to be down here any longer than we have to.
Aye.
I crouch down next to Levi and I go, I know this is tough, but come, we'll get your cousin back to your pub, and you can give him the proper rights.
Elf's heavy, I'll carry him.
Oh, yeah, okay, let's go.
Carolyn picks up the elf.
Okay.
I draw back out my long sword and looking it over, realizing it's not nearly as ornate as the elf's blade, but serviceable, and we head back the way we came.
Is it got enough notches down the blade that you could use it as a saw?
Not that bad. I take good care of my sword.
Do we have still burning sunlight up here?
Yeah,
that was only very brief.
That was very, very brief, yeah.
It doesn't last very long, but my light is going for.
There is still a lingering singed hair.
To be honest, I don't think there's a lingering singed hair smell in the air.
No, not with what else is down there.
I don't think we'd notice it over everything else.
In fact, to be fair, the elf probably wouldn't notice it neither because of that thing that stuck to his
on his
face,
cheek. Yeah.
My face has been cleaned off. All right.
You're still going to
Let's
walk
use some of the water to wash it off. Okay, the journey back to the street is quite uneventful, but again, this time from behind you, so it would have been in front of you on the way down.
Okay.
You feel like you're being followed, and again, you catch Ilmarin every now and again a set of red eyes, or you think they're red, the bright eyes. But again, they get no closer.
Yeah, I continuously relay to Hagen and Johan that we're being followed and their distance, and I'm just keeping an eye on it more than anything. And I've got an arrow constantly knocked just in case they change their mind and come a bit closer.
Okay.
Let's just get out of here and get back and get paid.
Hagen will move to the rear guard position just in case they decide to rush us.
Okay. We head back.
We make for the exit.
Dodge.
What?
I said, let's get out.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were calling for dodge rolls. Or what?
You get back to the hole. Is someone going to go up first and then maybe pull everybody up rather than getting everybody to climb?
I'll have a go at climbing up if someone else will hold the elf out of the filth while I'm climbing, and then we'll have a go at pulling things
I'll
up.
take the elf.
This is where I burn through all my fortune points in one roll to avoid plummeting. So another plus 20. Is it still a plus 20?
Yeah.
No, I succeed. Awesome.
Nice.
Okay, excellent. You sort of shoot up the rope almost. Again, it's obvious that there is some experience.
I have nothing in climb.
Yeah.
I'm just rolling well, and have a pretty good strength score. But yes, Carolyn makes her way up the rope, and then she can help other people up.
Yeah. Are you going to take in turns to climb, or is Carolyn going to pull you up?
Hagen will try to climb. He would feel bad about Carolyn having to pull him up in his armor.
Okay. Probably we can't get more than one of us hauling up though, so we're going to need one of us to pull up the
Yep.
pull up the body.
I'll send the elf body up next, and then I'll go after.
Cool. Makes sense for two of us to have come up then before we bring the body up, so someone can then take the body out, and then we'll.
Ilmar is just on Overwatch. Back down the tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do I have to make a climb thing with them helping, or?
No, they pull you out. They pull you up and out.
Okay.
So, Ilmarin, as you stood there with your bow ready, there's this dark shadow that seems to be running down the sewer towards you. And you sort of turn around and you can see someone being pulled up on the rope. You've almost got nowhere to go. And it's coming at you really quickly.
I am going to loose an arrow.
Okay, make me a ballistic skill roll, please.
And normal difficulty?
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't think the darkness would, because I've got seeing dark and acute senses darkness.
Nice.
Yep. Just like my elven training.
Okay, this arrow goes straight through this dark figure's head, but it doesn't stop. It just keeps coming.
Excellent. Then I'm hopefully that rope's getting clear behind me.
And shut the sewer grate. That was out of
I'm
character.
assuming
Just to
since
clarify.
I'm still down there, but I would try and shoot a magical dart at it too if I saw what's going on.
I imagine you probably heard the twang of the bow.
Yeah. And I'm still all lit up, so.
So this shadow passes through you, and as it sort of strikes at you, and you just feel really, really cold. Could you make me a cool test, please?
I was going to say, can I attempt to dodge it?
You can try. Make me a dodge roll at -30, please. Okay. So you dodge the sword as it gets swung at you, and you dodge down, but this thing still sort of runs through you because there's almost nowhere for it to go other than run through you. But the sword didn't hit you.
Nice.
And
nice roll.
you feel very, very cold. Make me a cool roll, please.
See, that really good roll could have been your cool roll.
Yeah, it probably will be. Do I get any bonus for an epic dodge? Okay.
No, you get penalty.
Oh, no!
Oh.
I am not cool. I am not
well.
cool.
That's why he wore the brown pants.
Did I have any more rerolls? Did anyone else give me a reroll?
You've got fortune points down.
You have fate fortune points.
I'm going to have to use a fortune point because I think this might be quite dangerous if I don't.
Well, you get them every session, so don't worry. Oh, still fail.
Wow.
She didn't fail as bad, I guess.
That's
Yeah, it felt less catastrophically.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with it because obviously that's...
There's any... Oh, you've been given a reroll.
Okay, all right.
So I'll allow you to use that reroll.
Okay. Fair enough.
Hey!
He was scared.
Okay.
He was really scared.
You sort of hold it together, but as this passes through you, you almost hear this name screamed into your ear, and the name is just simply Cain.
As in the bloody-handed god.
As in the bloody-handed god.
Right, okay.
As in the god of...
I'm really
a
glad
certain
that
dark
Cameron
brethren
isn't
of
down
yours.
there. Not that she knows any of that.
Yeah, okay. Right, so I've just had the bloody-handed god's name screamed to me. Did it sound like it was like... Did it sound like just something like a battle cry? Or was it like almost like a god?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was more like a battle cry. Cool.
Yeah.
What language was it in?
I'm assuming Eletharian if it was screamed at me in...
Yeah,
thought so too.
a strange form, and the accent was... Make me a intelligence roll, please.
Okie dokie.
It's a voice that you've heard before.
Do I get any bonuses, negatives?
No, just a flat roll, please.
Ooh.
I'm not doing great with these rolls.
You definitely recognise the voice, but you can't put your finger on where you've heard it.
Okay, I'm going to use my last fortune roll for this session then. And I'll re-roll it. Yeah!
Yeah, it's been recently, but again, not entirely sure where. It's on the tip of your tongue, but
Been recently, like in the back of a cart. You spoke to me in the darkness.
oof. Yeah, it could have been.
Pieces are coming together. Ilmarin has a theory, and it's going to sound completely bogus when he gives it to the guys when we're out above the ground. But for now, a ghost just like scared the crap out of him, and he wants to get out of the sewer.
Okay. Okay, you get back to street level, and I take it you're going to let the halfling go back on his own.
Yeah, with the
the
halfling body.
Yeah. Okay, the halfling thanks you, and he goes on his way. And you've got the elf wrapped up in a blanket. I presume you're taking back to the sort of manor house.
Before we do, I'm going to lay out my bogus theory to the group. I'm going to say, guys, before we head to where we're going to head with his body.
Yeah.
The tomb had a glass coffin in it, which most likely had magics, and it was broken, and the elf was killed by a pointy sword.
Most swords are pointy.
No, a really pointy sword, which
like
is what
stiletto.
Yeah, that one, like that sharp. And there was a little place for a sword in the said tomb, and the tomb was empty. And there was a ghost who shouted, and it was scary. But the voice was the voice of that. You remember the prison cage? Remember the prison cage? Yeah. You know there was an elf inside it, and I called him a drooky scum and whatnot.
Right.
It was his voice. Bogus theory. He was in the tomb. The elf and the halfling inadvertently opened the magical tomb, thus waking him up. He's broken free, killed them, and is now on the loose.
I think you need a drink. Let's get going.
Okay.
I don't know, Johan. I mean, that sounds plausible from what we saw.
I'm thinking way out of our pay grade. Just saying.
And also, does the name
If a guy had
Nagash mean
been
anything
buried-
to anyone? Or Magalus? Does anyone recall these kind of names?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if any of us know
So,
about Nagash.
Dan,
Only one person.
when you put the face to the voice, you can remember the dark elf was called Maglus.
So Magalus was the guy in the crate. Okay. So yeah, actually, yeah. Now I think about it, the elf inside that cage, I think he was called Magalus, and it said Magalus on the back of the door. Yeah, I don't think it's that much of a bogus theory, Mr. Magic Man. Gerhardt, what do you know about these magics? I mean, obviously it's elven magic, so it might be slightly out. But do you think it's possible to keep someone in like a magical status?
Can we wrap this up soonish? Because it's like nearly 11 o'clock, and
Apologies.
sleep.
Let's take the elf back to the thing. We could discuss this another day.
Okay, and we'll leave it there for tonight as you stand on the steps in front of the manor house to go and meet up with Von Gebel and to get your pay for bringing back the body of the...
I'm wondering whether it would make sense for us to go and have a bar. To go, here's unfortunately, here's this. We're going to bathe, then come back.
No, here's this. Ding, 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 ding. Money, then we'll come back.
Okay. So,
I think we should
we'll
make a
leave it
point
here.
of
We'll
going
pick it up
in
next
with
week.
shitty shoes into his house.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I hope you were thoroughly entertained.
I know I was.
Was too. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Jim. That was awesome.
That was great fun.
Thoroughly enjoyed mixing it up with my players. A great bunch of guys. And we shall see you next week.
Toodly pip.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.